Hello and welcome back to this month's update on my small HO switching layout. Still doesn't have a name. I'm getting closer to a name, sort of settled in on a couple in particular, and so hopefully by the next time we do an update, or maybe even by the end of this video, that will have changed. There has been progress, slow, but it's still progress. I've been doing some work on scenic work on the layout and had some great feedback on Facebook groups in response to some of the questions that I posed around the industries at the back of the layout there. So I've switched things around a little bit, and we'll show you that in a moment. What I'm finding with this layout is because I built it originally as a portable one to take to a specific show, I've got it sitting on this shelf here where Greenville lived before, and I can take it on and off quite well, but I've fastened the two parts together with these clasps here, and I can't reach the ones at the back. So actually, to take it off is a fairly major thing, and I need to kind of balance it on my shoulders and so on as I'm doing that, and the same going back on. I'm hoping from now on, I had to do that to take it off and drill some holes, which I'll show you in a moment. I'm hoping from now on, it's not something I'm going to have to do that often, and I can crack on. So, as ever, and apologies if the sounds is a bit weird. I've bought some new microphones to work with my phone just to see if I can improve on the sound quality a little bit. So please let me know how you're finding that. Anyway, as I always say, less of me, and let's go and take a look at the layout. So for any of you that are following the updates on this layout, it should be fairly obvious where the first changes are. At the back here, I've started to plant the trees that I spoke about on the last update. I used seafoam trees when I built Greenville, and they're really nice, but they are a bit fragile and they do tend to deteriorate over time as well. So I just thought I'd try something a little bit different this time. These are Heki tree kits. So you get the plastic sort of frame and the sheet of the tear apart sort of flocking stuff. So I've had a go at making these. I've never made them before, and I'm having to do them in sort of half relief, if you like. So they fit sort of fairly flat against the background. That's the first row of trees, and the intention is that I'm going to plant some lower ones in front and then some undergrowth and stuff in there. Overall, I'm quite pleased with how that's turning out. I think it's going to be giving the effect that I'm after. I haven't done the other end of the layout yet, but that's coming in the future. Extended some of the ground and grass and that sort of thing as well. Use my 3D printer again to print up some of these Jersey barriers, just to mark out the area of this parking. There's just going to be this small, either this or another little work sheds type of thing there, and a couple of vehicles. And I want to find some sort of chalk or something, weathering powders, to start taking down the tone on this parking lot area here. It's supposed to just be concrete or aged asphalt or whatever. So one of the fundamental changes I've made, I mentioned earlier, I got some good feedback on a couple of the Facebook groups. At the end of the last video, I spoke about how the platform that was here to the extra sort of side industry, if you like, was just sitting on a bit of a curve and just felt a little bit off. Somebody suggested actually swapping the buildings around, which is what I've done. So I've swapped the buildings around, but I've also shortened the one that's still to be painted and decorated at the end there, and took one of those panels off. So it's actually two now rather than three of those 3D printed. That does need to just shift along to the left a little bit. But what I've now got is the two spots for the box cars at the warehouse here, and then that last one, which at the moment I'm going to be sending all door cars to, probably get a little forklift or something that I think I mentioned previously on that platform. But it might be other box cars or other kinds of traffic as well. But that's been working a lot better when I had a go at switching. I haven't got everything wired, the wires connected back up at the moment, so I can't do any switching for this video. And then just here, I'm just sort of working out a bit of extra fencing and a silo and stuff, just to sort of make the joint from the building to the trees a little bit more, whatever the word might be. So one piece of work which I haven't done yet, and I've been putting off, and I think I might have to do some kind of remedial work. When I laid the track, I had this layout sat on a different table, and I found that the ends of the track, where this joint is between the two boards, wasn't quite level. So I actually packed out on this left-hand side these end pieces of track with some very thin plastic card to raise it up and make it level, and it was fine. But then when I put it back on this shelf and reconnected everything back up, I found that actually those three where I've raised them up are now too high, and there's definitely a little bit of a drop there. The gap's unfortunate. That's just my bad workmanship. But the step, if you like, it isn't affecting cars and locos passing over it. But there's definitely a little bit of a step that they drop down over or jump over, if you like, as they go up. It's very imperceptible, but I notice it and it's bugging me. So I've either got to do something with the boards themselves. I've got some alignment dowels in there, which is going to make that difficult to raise this up ever so fractionally. Or I'm going to have to do something quite radical and actually get under this track and remove those raised sections, which I'd rather not do because I think that's going to be quite a major piece of work. So I've mentioned already one piece of work which I need to do at some point, as far as getting those tracks sort of properly aligned on the vertical. Apart from that, all the jobs I need to do: more trees, more greenery, detail, weathering on that area at the front there, finishing off that industry building, and it's mostly those sort of jobs actually, just bits of weathering and detail. One of the advantages of these small layouts, I guess, is that you can actually see something completed in a fairly short space of time without ever feeling that that's just too far off in the distance and losing interest, if you like. And then I'd like to do a lot more switching, really, just have a bit of a play and use this as a layout that I can pick up in the evening or switch on in the evening, spend 20 minutes, half an hour, switching a turn. Great way to unwind at the end of the day. Anyway, thank you for bearing with me. A very short update, I'm aware. I might commit to a name. I will commit to a name for the layout by the next update. So look out for that. Thanks again for all your subs. As I say, do let me know what you think about the sound quality, whether that's any better or worse. This is a bit of an experiment for me. In the meantime, take care. See ya.